It's a bit of Commonwealth Games boxing now. Well, a big look at next week's boxing, to be honest with you, with a man who has been there and done it with the amateurs. Nearly 50 international contests, a bronze at the Seoul Olympics where he lost on points to Roy Jones. Roy Jones later told me, absolutely, had no idea I knew him, that Richie punched really hard. And he won a gold medal at the Commonwealth Games in Auckland in 1990. He turned pro and won the Commonwealth and European middleweight titles as a pro, and then a world title. What nights, I'm telling you, absolutely sensational. Anyway, he's gone on a career as a broadcaster, one of the best. In the co-ring side, see, he is the best, and as a trainer he's got some pros, but he spends a couple of days each week in Sheffield with Great Britain's elite athletes. He's a Baggies fan, which we're not going to hold against him, although he did send me a text the moment the whistle went the other week when they had a little win at the Emirates. He didn't send it with 5 minutes to go, he sent it only once that whistle had gone, by the way. Let's welcome, if we can, Richie Woodhall to the Boxing Show.
Hello, Stevie.
How are you, son? I've got a live audience in for you, Rich.
Fantastic.
Rich, first I'm going to ask you about your Commonwealth Games memories. It was down in Auckland, and you held on after coming back from the Olympics. You could have easily turned pro with that bronze medal. You held on. Yeah. You held on for a couple of years. What people sometimes put the Commonwealth Games down, but you still got to box 3 or 4 or 5 times, haven't you, to get that medal?
Well, that's right, and it gets great exposure to the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, TV-wise, yeah.
I wanted to win a gold at a major tournament, and the Commonwealth is classed as a major tournament in terms of the exposure and that. So, I was tempted to turn pro after the bronze in Seoul, but my old man said to me, "Listen, you're not ready yet. You're not strong enough," and he was quite right. He said you should stay amateur a little bit longer. So I stayed amateur, and the experience from the Seoul Olympics was invaluable, really. It really was. And obviously then I won the gold at the Commonwealth Games. And I had a couple of hard fights. I remember fighting a very tricky guy from the Seychelles, of all places. Wow. Not really a boxing nation, but I'll tell you what, he gave me a scare. I think I beat him 4-1, 4 judges to 1, but he was always in it, this kid, and not a bad lad. And then I think I fought a Western Samoan who was as strong as a bull, just kept coming. So, you think it's an easy tournament, it's meant to be called the friendly games, but I tell you, there's a couple of decent kids in there, and then I beat Ray Downey in the final. The Canadian,
who was a good fight, yeah.
Who also won a bronze at the Olympics on the other half of the draw. So, yeah, it was a great tournament for me. I wouldn't settle, Steve, for nothing less than gold. And
yeah, I know that, son. You're a little bit determined. Despite your suave good looks, you do get a little bit angry if you're not in that top place. Now listen, Rich, you work with this elite team up in Sheffield with Robert McCracken, your friend. Robert McCracken was out there with you, wasn't he? In all fairness, was he there with you? Or was that his games?
He was out there actually. Yeah, he was in the same Commonwealth Games team, Rob. He was very, very unlucky.
Oh, he went mad when he lost.
I think he was beat by Greg Johnson or Mark Leduc from Canada.
No, it was
Johnson.
He went bananas.
Johnson, was it?
He went
but I tell you what, mate, he was a 3-2 split, and I thought he'd got it. It was one of those. Yeah.
So let's have a look at the boys that are out there. You know about Khalid not being able to fight, don't you?
Yeah, very, very disappointed.
Our flyweight.
Well, we knew, obviously he had the operation a couple of months ago, but training was going well. He looked, he was looking forward to the games. And then he must have flared up again out there, because obviously they'll still be doing some light sparring out there and some pad work and that, and obviously it hasn't responded well. So yeah, gutted for the kid, because he was a Stonewall goal for us.
He was a Stonewall goal. You're an Olympic veteran, World Championship veteran. Now, when you look at this, now we know so that means we're down to we haven't got anybody at 49 because Tommy Stubbs has come up. Well, what do you think realistically we can come back with here? It's bearing in mind that we had the best European Championships we've had since 1950, whenever it's 56.
Yeah,
or something.
I think realistically we're looking at probably 3 or 4 goals minimum. I think. I mean, people will probably say, well, that's a lot of goals, but I think we're looking at 3 or 4 goals. Yeah, I think Ian Weaver at 56, he's got to be favoured for gold. Yeah, he's come on, Steve, leaps and bounds.
I like the kid a lot. Yeah,
he really has, and it's been a great story for him, because originally, obviously, Luke Campbell, European champion in 2008. Yeah, well, he decided to go to into the ABAs, you see, and said to the head coach, Robert McCracken, I don't want to go to the Commonwealth Feds, I want to go into the ABAs, and Robert says, well, okay then. Well, but obviously Ian Weaver will take your place, and Ian has grabbed the bull by the horns, mate. He took his opportunity. He came back from those games, Commonwealth Federation in Delhi. He won gold.
Oh, staggering.
And he's unbelievable, and he hasn't looked back. I mean, he got a silver in the Europeans in Russia. and he also went to the Prime Ministry, which is in Turkey, a very hard tournament, and he was beaten. Literally, it was a very, very close decision for the gold medal. He got a silver there, so the kid has not looked back. And I'll tell you what, it will take a real good boy to beat Ian Weaver. So.
And yet the pressure's still on, because Luke Campbell's just got a gold, I don't know if you know, out in Austria.
Yeah, in Austria,
so it's not like it's a shoot. Even if Ian comes back, you still have to go into that tournament on November the 13th,
well, Steve,
and may have to beat Campbell.
Yeah, it's such a healthy situation for us, because you've got Campbell now. I was involved in the final preparations for Campbell before he went to Austria. He's come back with the gold. So, you know, these two are nip and tuck. They're biting each other's heels. Weaver's just ahead of Campbell, I would say, at this stage. But, you know, Luke's still there, and he's still got the ambition of going to the Olympics and winning a gold medal. And I'll tell you what, if you look at Campbell, you look at the size of him, he's got all the physical advantages. If he gets his act together, he's a southpaw, very, very awkward. He'll be very difficult as well.
It'd be staggering. Look, going down the rest of the list, obviously Bradley Saunders, we know he's a bit disappointed at the Olympics. I think he could try and put it right. Couldn't go to the Worlds. He injured his hand again, didn't he, last year? Something like that.
That's right, yeah. Well, you know, similar to myself in that he's gone to the Olympics first, okay. He didn't do well at the Olympics. But, Steve, believe you me, the experience you get from the Olympics, the whole atmosphere of boxing and Olympic Games, that will be absolutely so valuable to him. For these games, and I'm expecting Bradley to win gold here. Let's not beat about the bush.
No,
Bradley Saunders should win gold out in India. So I'm looking at Weaver. I'm looking at Tommy Stalker at 60, European silver medalist again. He should win gold in my eyes, and Bradley Saunders. Those are your three that I would say out of the squad. Now that Khalid's gone, they should be coming home with gold medals.
And the top of the squad, you know, there's a couple of guys there we could still mix things around, like Amin Issa up at super heavy. He could still be replaced at some stage by Finchley's Anthony Joshua at some stage, couldn't he?
Yeah, love him to bits, Amin. He lacks a little bit of confidence and believing in himself, but I've worked with him on many, many occasions in the camps, and I'm just trying to get him to use his height and reach. The guy has got such long arms. I'm telling you, if he wants to box at mid and long range and just gets into his head that, forget all your short range stuff, you know, his strength is at long range mainly. He's going to be very difficult to get to, but it's just the confidence things with Amin. And as I say, these games should bring him on. But I also like Obed. I forget, I don't forget, but his second name,
Mwakongo.
Mwakongo, that's it, 81. I'll tell you what, Obed again this year, come on leaps and bounds, Steve. Really got his act together. Lovely boxer, and for me, he should be getting to the final in this competition.
I tell you,
because he was robbed. I had a good talk with Robert McCracken when he come back from the European Championships, and he was robbed in the Europeans against the Russian. He was robbed.
Oh, that's interesting. You know what, Rich? I mean, it's gone from being a really high Olympics a couple of years ago and a Worlds before that to a bad Worlds to a brilliant Europeans. This at the moment, maybe it's because of the funding and the fact that, you know, you and Rob have got such a great rapport because you've known each other for so long. But this is a strong group. There's 25 good fighters, aren't there? 25 good fighters.
Yeah, good fighters. I mean, you know, don't forget Simon Vallely at 91 kg for England. Simon, I tell you what, he's the dark horse of that division. That Simon. He has come on excellently, really well in the training camps. We've been training with the French guys, with the Italians have come over, the Chinese have come over, and he has held his own with everything that's been put in front of him. A dark horse, Steve, Simon Vallely, and no one knows about him. I'm telling you, he's very inexperienced as an international, but believe you me, strong kid. And don't forget Callum Smith at 69 kg.
You know what, Callum Smith, brothers.
He fought in these four nations against Kazakhstan and China, and he beat both the Kazakhstani #1 and the Chinese #1 welterweight. Now, I tell you what, that takes some doing.
No, it does.
Callum Smith, again, is someone you should be looking out for.
You know what, Rich? I know you're going to be in the chair doing some work for the Beeb during the Commonwealth Games, son, but it's a disgrace that you haven't had the big phone call from the big place to put you in the main chair. I'm going to say it now. They can't sack me. I'm on air. We'll leave it unsaid. Listen, Richie, it's an absolute pleasure, son.
Cheers, Steve.
Listen, Bab, I'll speak to you later on. Richie Woodhall there, sharing it with me. Now, hi, I've got